Hey guys, welcome back. Happy New Year. So last week we pretty much had a sideways week, right? You can see that if I go to the weekly chart on the market, that we finished with an inside week and we're kind of opening higher this week, right? I go to the 4-hour time frame, the same downtrend that I discussed last week. We broke through overnight, right? We retraced some of it. In other words, we kind of went down to retest it. And now the market is kind of trying to stabilize over the breakout. If the market does hold, right, you can see this is kind of the levels bulls need to hold 3833. If you hold 3833, then the market at minimum, a break above 3885 will take it at least, 60 points higher, like 1.6%. So I think overall should be a relatively bullish week. I could see whether you're bullish or bearish, I could see us, retesting 3940 at the very least, right? And if you're bearish, then this is kind of the level you're looking for a rejection before we move down. And if you're bullish, this would kind of be start of the bigger C wave that I pointed out, right? I think the first 2 months could be kind of bullish for 2023 before we, kind of come down to, finish overall. This is kind of the structure that I'm looking at in the bigger market, right? Where this was my A, my B, and my C, right? And a bigger A, B, C. Here we have another A, your B, your C, right? And your bigger B wave, wherein this is your A wave, B wave, and C wave. So yeah, I am looking for the C wave to kind of play out in the next couple of months or maybe 3 months, right? And then I think the rest of 2023 is kind of going to be brutal. The one cliche is, again, if you're feeling immediately bearish, this could, right? This entire move could be your 1, 2, your 3. This is your 4, right? Would kind of reject this 3900 level, which was previous support, come down into this new support at 3868 before the C wave begins. So that would kind of be the alternate immediate bear, right, for a week or two before the market turns upwards. So yeah, it's kind of my broader thesis for the first couple of months heading into 2023. So yeah, we're kind of right now at an interesting, kind of pivot. The market does break over this, it could very well be the start of a very bullish C wave. So let's kind of see whether this level holds, right? And we push higher, or if it's a fake breakout and we very likely, come down to test this level before we push higher. So yeah, that's kind of my thesis for this year. We look at the dollar, right? The dollar again, so this is kind of what makes it interesting for the immediately bearish scenario is that the dollar is, right, this line level, right? You can see this level right here is kind of a support on the dollar, right? And you can see that the dollar also has been in an extended downtrend. So, and we have kind of been sideways for like a couple of weeks, right? Kind of had a weekly bullish reversal going on right now. So if the dollar does break over 105, then the dollar could, again, have that push higher, right? Make a lower high before it comes lower. In this scenario, in which case, right, when we go back to the market, this wave 4, wave 5, kind of what I pointed out, where this would kind of be a fake breakout, or it could still push up to 3900 before it, kind of comes down for this wave 5 could kind of be in play. So yeah, kind of watch the dollar to kind of give you clues on where we're kind of headed next, right? The reason for that is kind of at an important support level. And if, right, as you can see here, this is kind of the important, right? This level right here on the dollar is support. So if we do break support, then it has a lot of room, right? Pretty much, if I go to the weekly chart, the dollar and I remove everything, you can see we pushed up to almost prior resistance. I wouldn't really say that's a prior resistance. Go to the monthly chart of the dollar, right? Almost to prior monthly levels. So yeah, you can see that has a 3 black rows candle, which usually means any bounce will get rejected to go lower. Kind of my baseline thesis for why the first couple of months could be bullish, right? The dollar could come down to retest this 96 level. So yeah, kind of keep an eye on the dollar just because of where it kind of is. If it does break here, you can see it doesn't have any support to like 101. So that's kind of what I have about the market. Now let's go to this week's watch list and kind of see what we have, right? The first stock I have is actually AMD, and the reason for that is, again, you can see it had a weekly shooting star kind of candle. We are opening higher, and at the very least, this is the prior resistance level, right? So I do think that AMD could push up to like 71, 74 on this run, right? Even if you're bearish, I think it would push up here and reject here before it comes down lower. So yeah, I do have AMD called over 66. I do think that at least a $4 or $5 move and minimum is possible. The next one I have is actually Mara, and this is kind of a hammer. I wouldn't kind of say that this not the last one was a hammer too. Sorry, I don't know why I said shooting star, but this is a much more weaker hammer. But as you can see, this also is kind of in an extended downtrend. And I do think that January is usually a pretty bullish month for crypto. So it'll kind of be interesting to see how that plays out. And on the weekly, you can kind of see it is forming some kind of bullish, divergence. So if this does pick up this week, right, at minimum, right, at bare minimum, I would say this is my more bearish option, right? The more bullish option for me personally would be where this is kind of putting in some kind of running expanded flat, right? Push up to like $8 where it comes down lower. I think bull or bear, right, at minimum 5.28. So that would almost be kind of like 40-50% on Mara. So Mara could make a pretty good, first 2 months mover on the markets. That's kind of why I have Mara. And we look at Bitcoin, you can again see we've been sideways for weeks, right? We go to the monthly chart of Bitcoin. Again, you can see that we had a massive bearish, kind of an inside month, right? In December, we had an inside month. So again, this is the downtrend line, as you can see. So being an inside month, the next month usually, right? Unless it has another inside month, the next month usually is a more expansive move. So again, an inside month could mean, right, either a visit down 20% down to 13,000, or it could mean a visit up to 21,000 at minimum, another 27% upside. So I do think Bitcoin will move 20% up or down, kind of at a crucial resistance level, right? I go to the daily chart, you can see that if the market cannot break over 1721, then we are very likely, right? We're very likely going to visit that 12,000 level I mentioned before it pops higher, right? Or if the market were to break over this 18,000 level, then I do think a visit back to 27, 28 is possible. So yeah, I did have this as for calls, right? But again, on a bigger picture scale, I zoom out, you can see that this level on Mara, right here, is support. So if Mara were to break 3.4, it will probably come down to like $2. So again, you could short it and make a pretty good amount too. So let's kind of see which way Bitcoin flips. Could be an interesting mover. So the next one I have is actually OXY. Again, I just kind of want to bring this on your watch list, right? Because you can kind of see since the entire year, it kind of just distributed, right? It broke that distribution in December. It's kind of been sideways. That doesn't mean that OXY can't retest this 67 level, right? It definitely could. It could retest that level before it comes down lower, right? Or it could immediately, as you can see, it kind of went sideways for 3 weeks. So gonna make a big move this week either way. So it could either, come down to this 58 level. So kind of had this on a more bearish sequence, right? Puts below 63, probably comes down to 58. But I could definitely, again, alternatively also see it retest. So just kind of keep this on your watch list just in case, that kind of keep this on your watch list, just in case it does, right? 58 is kind of the ultimate break, energy bears kind of need, because you can see we kind of distributed, right? I go to the monthly chart of OXY. You'll also be able to see that, again, you can see that very tight distribution happening. And again, why is it happening at this level? You can kind of see this is downtrend for OXY. An OXY bull would kind of need to break over 77, and that would break like a 10-year, 12-year downtrend and have a very massive upside move. But yeah, considering where it's kind of happening, right? I tend to lean more bearish than bullish. So yeah, break below 57, 58 is kind of the ultimate break. You know, energy bears kind of need for a more exasperated down move. But yeah, just kind of keep this on your watch list. I just wanted to kind of bring this to your attention. So the next stock on this week's watch list is CRM. And I have, you know, mentioned this stock in the past. 1 second. Yeah. Yeah, the next stock, and again, the reason for that is you can kind of see that it had some kind of spinning top right at the bottom with the bullish engulfing of the reversal pattern. We are opening higher, right? And again, this is support level. So again, at very minimum, looking for a move up to 155 could make for an interesting trajectory higher, right? On CRM. Last but not the least, the next stock I'm kind of looking at on this week's watch list is NE. And again, this is another solar stock, right? We have discussed TAN, where we said that it was, I don't know, probably a couple of weeks ago, we discussed, right? When it was in this area, we mentioned that it is coming against resistance. So solar stocks, you know, kind of may face a downtrend. So again, I have two options, right? Either this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with an ABC headed higher, right? This is the bull version, or alternatively, right? What solar stocks are going to do is this is your B wave coming down for a C wave, which would, you know, make this entire thing a 1, 2, a 3, 4, 5. So again, kind of at a very interesting, you know, junction for solar stocks. And again, NE, you can see that it's actually been distributing since Jan of 2021. So a whole year, right? Kind of like oil. And again, if NE were to break below 81, then a minimum, it probably comes back to the bottom of this trend line, right? But bigger picture, obviously the 69 is the most important level, right? If it breaks 69, then it's very easily going to come down to 57. So again, kind of sideways, kind of interesting, kind of keep, you know, solar stocks on your radar because they're all, you know, kind of an interesting junctions where FSLR is again kind of just going sideways, right? It could, if solar wanted to have a good year, kind of base here, right, before it moves higher. But if it does break into this channel, gonna have a very massive downside move. NE, again, I still think it goes sideways for a couple of months, but again, I mean, and face on NE, you can see this is where it kind of rejected, right? And you can see this is an ascending triangle that broke down. So normally very bearish pattern. If it does, you know, continue, I mean, given that it has 3 red weeks, could just bounce. But yeah, solar stocks could be in a rough year if it does play out this bad pattern. So yeah, that's all I have for this week's watch list. Thank you very much. I hope you have a very prosperous year.